It's not just mine, his or her house. This is our house.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tyrone Lowe. This is my show, The Legends. I want to thank everybody that actually subscribes to my show and show me love all over the world. In the house of the legends, he's a DJ. He's a producer. This guy has some slamming tracks. He has a new one out today, and we're going to get to hear it later on. But first, we're going to hear from him, and he's going to tell his story. So in the house, we have DJ Exotic. What's going on, dude?
How you doing, Tyrone?
I'm quite well, man. Welcome to my show, The Legends. So what we're going to talk about is, how did you actually, well, let's talk about in the beginning for you. How did you get into music, period? That's what I want to know.
It's funny because basically, back in the day, my mother had the old record player with the 8-track tape next to it. And for some reason, one day I just decided to take her turntable out of the component set.
I hear you, man.
And I built a wooden box. Went to the hardware store. I built a wooden box, and I always been like a tech head. So
right.
I wired the RCA's up to a speaker, and I just thought I was on my front porch, and I just started playing records. So after that, you know, back at that time, my sister, she was in college, and she was like, no, I'm just going to use my refund check, my college refund check, and buy you some turntable. So that Christmas, she bought me a set of turntables. At this time, Radio Shack, we was buying the Radio Shack mixers.
Right. So
she bought me the 2 turntables. My father bought the mixer. And my first 2 records that they bought me were Heavy D and Kwame.
Okay.
And I think I played the grooves off of the record.
I hear you, bro.
And I was outside sitting on the step one day. I heard "Follow Me."
Right.
And that's really when the house thing came about, because I'm like, okay, I want to know, it's not hip hop, it's not, R&B. I wanted to know what it was.
Right.
Eventually, at that time, of course, when "Follow Me" came out, it was worldwide. It was
explosive, of course, yes.
I think they played "Follow Me" 10 times a day, every day for all 6 months straight.
Right.
So basically that was the beginning of that. And, I took a little vacation for a little while. Then when I came back, it was like, okay, it's time to go full force.
Right.
And that's how all of the house music stuff started. And I just, basically I just became obsessed.
So at this point right now, for you to actually get into the interest of it, did you have an ideal DJ or somebody that was actually influencing you at that time?
Well, see, that's the thing. It took me a while to really get into the Larry Levines and, Carl Cox and guys like that, because you had to, not necessarily had to ask around, but you had to get information of who these major DJs were. So at that time, I really didn't have a significant pick.
Okay.
Because it was so much music coming out. Even like now, it was so much music coming out. You don't know whether, okay, Larry played a banging track tonight. Punch played a banging track the next night. So it was like, okay, which way am I going and who am I following? So I just start following everybody, and you know, and that's how that went.
You know, I seen a bunch of you and Tommy Davis, and I know that you're affiliated with all those guys out there in Baltimore, Spin
Right.
and all of them. So how did you actually get affiliated with them?
I kind of figured you were gonna ask me that. Okay, so I'm doing a part. I threw a party. I threw a house party,
Right.
and it was me and DJ Dell and Tommy Davis. Had at some point got a whiff of the party.
Okay.
So he walks through the door. He walks straight back to the bar, and I don't know if you're familiar with him. His name is DJ Technique down here in Baltimore.
No, I've never really heard of him. Mm-mm.
Right. So Technique was at the bar. So he went straight to Technique and was like, "Who is that? And what is he playing?" Because I can't even remember. It been a while, but I had made a record that I had never put out. So I'm playing the record, and you know, I'm tricking the record out and all this. I'm just having fun with the music.
Right.
So he goes to Tech and he says, "Who is that? And what is he playing?" So Tech runs up to the booth. He was like, "Man, Tommy want to know who you are." And I'm
Right.
like, "What? Who?" I'm thinking he joked. You know, I thought it was a joke.
Mm-hmm.
But he said, "Tommy wanted to come up to the booth and meet you." And I'm like, "Sure." You know, and from that night, it was instant. It was just, I mean, it was instant.
Okay.
And after that, I think it was like maybe a week later, we linked up, and he was listening to some, you know, a lot of stuff that I had never even released. And he was like, "Man, you got to put some of this stuff out."
Right.
So I'm like, okay, I'm flabbergasted because this is Tommy Davis of well, it wasn't even unquantized at that time. It was just quantized.
Right.
With Spin and him.
Spin, yeah,
So,
right. Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So at this time, Spin was in London, if I'm not mistaken. So I get a phone call 3:00 in the morning.
Right.
And him and Spin on a conference call, and I'm like, wow. You know, and I'm still absorbing the process.
Right. Right.
How many people you're going to get a phone call 3 a.m. in the morning from DJ Spin and Tommy Davis.
Right.
And so I'm mind blown. So, okay, they called me, "Listen, we want you to do this remix." So my first remix on Quantize was God's Got It remix.
Okay.
And that's how it just went from there.
Okay. So from there, you started other production. I mean, now you mentioned that you had some unreleased stuff that you had just made, but it wasn't actually, put out for production. Did you eventually put them out?
No. Okay. So long story short, my hard drive got corrupt.
Right.
Everything that I had produced within that last year was gone.
Wow.
I had no backup, no nothing. So basically it was like, yeah, you're going to have to start fresh. Okay, no problem. So at that point, that's when I learned a major rule. Make a backup to your backup.
Of course.
So that will never, ever happen again.
Right.
You know, it was like I had the tracks, but I had no stems to the track.
Oh, okay.
So, so it was like nothing I could do.
You couldn't create an actual waveform with that.
Yeah, but at that time, I was frustrated because I'm like, okay, all of these hours I put in to these records,
right,
and the stems are gone. So I just forward from there.
Let's talk about your new track. It's a monster, and I want to congratulate you on it being charted.
Thank
And
you.
so let's talk about that track because I got it like 2 days ago,
Right.
and you didn't know about it until I told you about it the other day when we actually talked about it. And
Right.
I listened to it. I was like, wow, okay. And so I said to myself, because remember we was talking to I forgot who we was talking to, and he said, well, listen, you need to interview this guy, Exotic, and I said, well, okay.
Smooth.
You talking about T? Yeah, cause me and T be on the phone. We speak periodically, and I said, well, listen,
Right.
yeah, I'm gonna get him on the show because I did some background work on you as far as some stuff, and I said, well, listen, I definitely got to get him on my show. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
Right.
and there it was. So let's talk about the track itself. Tell everybody the name of it and how did you actually come about it?
The name of the track is called Israel Land. And as a creator and as a producer, sometimes you muster up these certain beats. And I had to zero in on what I wanted this track to sound like. Mm-hmm. I knew I wanted the hit. I wanted the bass. I wanted the hit. But when you're creating drum patterns and you're trying to put together the quote unquote perfect track,
right?
No such thing. But even with no, I'm gonna say this. Even with classics, mm-hmm. The creators probably felt like, oh, I could have. It's already out, but I could have tweaked this. I could have did this, and
right.
But in the people's eyes, we love it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Be like that sometimes.
Yeah, and I was satisfied when because Tommy asked me, "Are you satisfied?" I'm satisfied with it. I created it. I'm satisfied with it.
Well, you know what? We're going to take time out and we're going to listen to it, and I want you guys to give it a listen. It's out now. I don't know if it's still on promo. It might be out now, but if it's out now, I need you guys to go to Track Source and cop it, listen to it, and you DJs go out there and you play it. All right? Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
It's not just mine. It's or her house. This is our house.
We got some fun people in the house tonight.
This is our house.
back. Hey, man, that's a monster track.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You guys go out there and start playing it. Let me ask you a question. Besides being in Baltimore, have you played like in Jersey or New York or anything like that?
I've played in Jersey so many times in the past few years. You know, I've been in Jersey. I did the Black Excellence Festival last year in Atlantic City with myself, DJ Beloved. I just been having fun with it, man.
Okay.
I just been having fun.
My question to you is between Baltimore and Jersey, is reading the floor different or is it about the same?
I would say yes, because you have groups of party goers. Some are strictly soulful, some are, commercial.
Right.
And being that we have different genres of house music, let's just take, for instance, I played in Club Dose a couple months ago in Jersey.
Right.
And what I've noticed is that you have to be able to combine sometimes soulful, commercial house, jacking house. You have to be versatile to zero in on a specific craft.
Okay. And so let me ask you a question. To break a record between Maryland and Jersey, how do you work that pattern?
It's difficult.
Okay.
It's difficult because, once again, you have some DJs that you can walk in a club,
right?
And to me, I mean, for me personally speaking, for me, it's a curse and it's a good thing.
Okay.
And the reason I'm saying that is because you generate a bunch of followers because they know what you're going to play.
Right.
But then it becomes a situation where if a person walks into a club at exactly 10:15 and they say, "Oh, I know what he's going to be playing. We're going to get there around 10." That's not good for me.
Right.
And I've seen it and heard it so many times. And once again, it's like a catch-22 because you've built your audience off of playing certain records frequently.
Right.
So, which means if it's a 3 DJ lineup and somebody comes in, the next DJ comes on after the first DJ, and he has this banging record, nobody heard it. 9 times out of 10, it's going to clear the floor because it's not a frequently played track. Or sometimes it could just be a situation where a certain DJ, you could take, let's just say Jihad.
Right.
It might take Jihad to play that specific track for it just to blow up everywhere.
Right.
So, I mean, it's really now. It's not like, matter of fact, I was listening to the conversation between you and Dan on your interview yesterday.
Okay. Yes.
And I agree 150% as far as it's a totally different listening audience between the United States, London, Paris. You have open ears, put it that way. In overseas, they're subjected to listen to whatever and, you know, embrace it.
Yeah.
Versus here, it's either one or two ways that, for me, from, you know, this is just me speaking.
Mm-hmm.
It's only one or two ways that a track will be, you know, will be put out there. If a very well-known DJ plays it, nobody else played it.
True.
Or you have somebody that will play it a few times and embrace it, and then put the word out. Oh, I know what that song is. I know what that track is.
Yeah.
And that's when it spreads.
You know, I talked about that yesterday on Dan's interview because it's a real thing. When I play overseas, man, it's more of an ease for me to say, well, hey, I could play a lot of new stuff. I could take the first top 10s from TrackSource right now and play it there, and they will definitely embrace it. Where if I play here in New York City, they'll be like, what is he playing? You know, I remember one time I was at LeBain's when Tony Humphries was playing, and he plays a whole lot different than he was playing when he was doing Kiss FM in Zanzibar. And he actually stopped the music and he told the crowd, listen, I'm not going to be playing the same thing I was playing back in the days. This is a new and improved stuff, because I get a whole lot of music. You get a whole lot of music. And we as DJs are supposed to actually, you know, help the artists, you know, get the music out there. We shouldn't be holding back on the production. You know, that's how I feel, you know. But at this time right now, you have any shout outs to anyone that you really want to recognize right now?
It's a long list, man. But first and foremost, I want to give a big shout out to DJ Spen, Tommy Davis, Casper Bernstein, Maurice Davis from Chicago. It's so many, man. Maurice from Pasquet Records. Because these guys, man, they embrace me. I can call at any given time, you know, if it's software related, production related, you know, and it's hard. It's very, very difficult to reach out to quote unquote some of the well-known producers, and get valid information on, okay, well, how can I tweak this, or how can I gate the kick? You understand what I'm saying?
That's what you're saying. Yeah.
It's really difficult, and
well, you know, I say this, man. Every DJ to me is not a DJ. You know why? Due to the fact that they're not receptive to actually give notifications to other DJs as well. If I feel like you did a set one night and I feel that you're able to actually make it better than it is, and you be receptive and you go back to the drawing board and do it, I feel that that's a good connection between me and you. And that shows concern, because it's a craft and we're entertainers. You know, we're not trying to compete with other DJs and trying to be better than, because there's no big eyes and better use. We're both playing with CDJs in the mixer. But in the meantime, you know, I want to thank you so much, man, for being on my show, man, and sharing, you know, your experiences. And he has a very new track out. And I need you guys to go out there, pick it up, listen to it, go through his category. If you don't have none of his music, go out there and get it, start playing it, put it part of your set, you know. And this has been another T-Lo video production with my guest, DJ Exotic. Hey, man, thank you so much for being on my show.
Always a pleasure.
Okay.
It's not just mine, his or her house. This is our house.
We got some fun people in the house tonight.
Dari namudu anyadatan nodu daranyada. Dari namudu anyadatan nodu daranyada. Dari namudu anyadatan nodu daranyada. Dari namudu anyadatan nodu daranyada.
It's not just mine, his or her house. This is our house.